everybody, welcome back to another video. It's Ryder here, and today we're going to be going over the very basics of Scrap Mechanic, specifically how to use all of the tools. Now, for any of you who have ever played Scrap Mechanic or seen it, you may skip over this video because it is the very basics. This video is more focused towards people who have never seen Scrap Mechanic, never played it, nothing, and just hear about it and want to know the basics. So let's get right into it. So today we're just going to start off with all of the tools and really the basics of how to use them. So first we have the lift. Now, to get to your tools, you click I, which is your inventory, where you have all of your stuff, everything that you have, and on your left, you can see all of your tools. So this is how you get them. You just hold left click, and you can drag them down into your hotbar, just like that. Now, we're going to start off with the lift. So the lift, we can just read this. Build on the lift to create freely movable constructions that won't be fixed to the ground. Can be elevated and lowered, as well as lift creations that are flipped over. So the lift is very handy. I probably use it the most out of all of the tools. So it has a lot of uses. First, building non-fixed creations, like so. So you can build directly off of it. And when you delete the lift by holding right click, this item is not fixed. As you can see, it moves around when I hit it with my hammer. It's not connected to the ground, whereas if you build straight off the ground, it is completely static and connected. Now, the very nice thing about the lift is you can also pick up things and move them, delete them, and even save them as creations or blueprints to come back to them. So you can see this one over here, when you hover it over it with the lift, it turns pale white. And when we click left click, we pick it up, and you can see I can move it anywhere I want. I can move it over here. Oh, I think I'll move it over here. So you see. Now, you can also pick it up, go down, hit E. Now this is where you do it. It shows you can see how many parts it took. You can see you can create a description. You can rename it, and you can save it. So let's say thingy save. Now you can see these are all my vehicles and blueprints of other things that I've created. And here it is down here. So I can just place a lift anywhere. Click E. And you can see all my blueprints, and I can place it as many times as I want. Look at that. Now, in order to get rid of all this junk, you pick it up, click E, and just delete it. It's as simple as that. So that's basically the lift, and that's how you create movable vehicles. Here, let me show you. I can just place a basic, let's see, which vehicle do we want? I'll just place this, the aqua color. So I built this a very long time ago. I believe this was the first vehicle I ever built in Scrap Mechanic. And you can see I have it here. And then I can remove the lift and hop in, and I can drive this vehicle around. Now, this is the other very nice thing about it. I'm going to try and tip this thing over. Boom. It's tipped. I can't get that thing back up. Just hover over it with the lift and pick it back up. It's as easy as that. So the lift is a very useful little tool. Now the next thing kind of going off of the lift is the connect tool. And this is how you connect wires and things to make vehicles or contraptions actually work at your disposal. So let's place a lift, and let's just actually, another thing, you can delete your blueprints that you've saved. So I don't want this thing anymore. I can just delete the blueprint, and you can see it's not there. So I'm just going to build a very basic thing. Just super basic. And that's really all I need for a basic vehicle. So now I get my connect tool, and you can see all these colorful dots. Now let me just show you some of the colors real quick. And in the next episode, I'll explain more of the colors because we have more items to show. But basically, dark blue is bearings. These dark blue discs are bearings, which spin when connected to either a driver's seat, a button, an engine, or a switch, and that allows them to spin. And keeping them free lets them spin freely due to gravity. The seat is green, or driver's seat is green, so you connect this green to your bearings and engines. Anything that you want to be controlled by the seat, you gotta connect to that green. So usually a vehicle looks like a big spider web, and all those webs are connected to your seat. The engine is orange, and you can connect bearings to this, or the bearings turn orange. And this allows bearings to be controlled with W and S, so forward and backward. And when you use this is normally on your wheels to go forward and backward. And when you connect bearings just to your seat automatically, that is used as A and D, which is steering. So your top bearings, which will turn, you can see, will turn this wheel and those wooden blocks sideways, left and right, is going to be your steering. Now, this is really all you need for a basic vehicle. Just that. Most simple thing you can have. Oh, sorry. You always have to connect the engine. So remember, I almost forgot. Connect everything to your seat. Now, let me just delete those. We don't really need those. Another thing is, you can see these arrows on bearings, and you're probably confused about what those are. So that shows you the direction these bearings will be turned. So for steering, this is showing you the direction it will be turned when you turn right, or click D. So you're going to want these facing right, of course, because you can see if I have them on left, I'm clicking left and they're going right. I'm clicking right and they're going left. So that's something to keep in mind. You always got to have them facing the correct direction, depending on your vehicle. Now with the same things with these orange ones, which are connected to the engine, when clicking W or forward, you want the arrows to be facing forward. So you can see those two are correct, but these are facing backwards. So when I drive forward, those go back and the other two go forward. Let me just increase the power. So with engines and things like thrusters as well, you can click E to use them and change the power. So now you can see it a little better. If I go back, you can see this left side turns back, and you can see it doesn't let me go forward. So what you do, make them all go forward, and we should be able to drive. And there we go, we got a working vehicle, everyone. And you can steer and everything. And that's how you make a very, very basic vehicle, which is the first step to creating crazy contraptions. And in the next video, we're going to dive into more depth about different items and things to make your vehicles more advanced. Now, I can pick this up on the lift, I could save it, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to delete it. And there you go, that's the Connect tool. Very useful, makes the game what it is. It makes Scrap Mechanic Scrap Mechanic. Now the next thing is the Weld tool. So this, you're able to weld pieces, or loose objects to fixed pieces, to create one block. So let's say I create a weird hooky thing, just a crazy thing like that on a lift. And you can see that is loose. I can hit it with my hammer and it goes crazy. It's not connected to the ground. If I had a fixed pillar or something, that is connected. As you can see, I cannot hit it. Let's say I want to connect this to that, so it's all one fixed piece. What I do is I grab my weld tool. You can see this little blue square, and the block that blue square is on is where the weld point is. So let's say I want to weld it off of this arm. Left click, You can see my weld tool becomes open. I'm going to place it up there and click Q to rotate. So you can rotate it all the directions. And left click again. Boom. It's connected. Now that is part of that. They are one piece. And now, of course, I can delete that welded block. And boom. They are separated. Now, another thing, so that doesn't happen. We can connect that again. We can build, since they are one piece, everything that you build off of it will be connected. So if I build an arm here, connect it there, you can see, and I delete the weld point, it's still connected because they are one build. So the weld tool is very useful for fixing broken or glitched objects and connecting your creations. Now I'm just going to use the lift again to delete it. That's why I use the lift the most. It's just so handy. Next, we have the hammer. I've kind of been showing you what this does. It knocks around loose objects. It's really simple. Delete that, and so you can create some type of fun soccer game or something like that with the hammer. And it is handy to knock things over. Let's say this tips. Somehow it tips. Oh no. And the weld point that I need to weld it to is under there. And I can't get it with my weld tool. I can hit it with my hammer and try and tip it. Boom. Now I got my weld point. So those also go hand in hand. Now next we got our paint tool. Pretty self-explanatory. It paints literally anything. Click Q, change your colors. You can paint anything. You can just click tap one by one, or you can hold and drag for bigger objects. So that's fun. You can paint your vehicles, you can paint your house, you can do whatever you want with the paint tool. And that's really all it does. Next thing. Oh, sorry, I should probably show you how to. Once you've painted something, you can right click, tap, or drag to delete the paint if you want to reset it to its old form. Next, we have the spud gun, and this is the weapon of the game. You can see it shoots potatoes, which is really fun. You can have like gun wars, right click to zoom in, and there you go. So this thing, it's fun to hit loose objects or shoot each other, make some type of war, mini game, do whatever you want, but it can't destroy any normal block. You can see I'm spraying as much as I can. It's not destroying this concrete, but what it can do is destroy cardboard. So if you want a vehicle or building or base or something that you want to be able to be destroyed by a spud gun, so you can have like tank battles and stuff and be able to break each other and blow each other up, you need to build it out of cardboard. Because now, you can see, if I break, oh no, I'm gonna break his axle, boom, now I can't drive. So you can create some very fun mini games with that. Another thing the spud gun can do is it can light explosives. And these explosive barrels, they come in small and large, blow things up. So in order to activate these, I can hit it with a hammer, or for more fun, do a crazy trick shot. Boom, disintegrated. And these explosives can, in fact, destroy things like concrete. And ting. Boom. So the explosive barrels have a little more power than the spud gun, which can be really fun. So you can have like a core of your tank have a TNT barrel, so if you expose it and shoot that, it's game over. So you can create some really fun games, like I was saying. And the other thing with the spud gun is there's an actual mountable version of it, which you can attach to vehicles or buttons, like I was saying with the tank. So let me grab a button, and then use my, oh, shoot. Am I stupid or what? I'm pretty freaking stupid. Okay, I'm gonna attach that and a button, wire them together, and you can see these are red weapons. Boom. I got a button. I can connect that to a seat, so when I'm driving my tank, I can shoot as well, and that can be really fun as well. And last but not least, we have the manual, and this tells you all the basics, how to navigate and movement controls, how to build a vehicle, which I kind of showed you, bearings, what they can do. So you can see it's not only for steering and things, you can use it to create mechanisms, which can swing on walls or things, which I'm going to get to with this controller down here, and that's how you can control those to even farther extent. Your lift, which we went over, the connect tool, which we also went over, the driver's seat, and this is, like I was saying, all the things that you want to be connected and controllable when you're sitting in your seat. You gotta connect them. You can see your gas engine, like I was talking about, thrusters, which can be controlled by switches or buttons to give you some extra boost. Triggers, so switches, buttons, and sensors. Basically, switch, toggle connected creations on and off. So you click it once, it stays on, you click it again, it turns off, which is really helpful for things you don't want to have to be holding down the entire time. Let's say like a thruster or something like that. You want to use a switch, but for a gun you use a button where you just tap it and it shoots and it activates, and then as soon as you let go, it turns off, which you can also hold down. And then sensors, these activate connected creations when something moves within its range. So you can change that range, so like 3 blocks, and then have that connected to a thruster. So let's say you walk within 3 blocks of the sensor, it'll activate that sensor, and as soon as you walk away, the sensor goes off, which can be really useful. And you can see over here on the right, all these things, thrusters, controllers, gas engine, seat, and radio can be controlled by these 3. And then, of course, the controller, which I'm going to get to in the next one because it's a little more complicated. And, of course, logic gate, which is even more complicated than that. And there we go. And then we got some common questions. But that is it. That is our first video of this super fun game, which I love. And so, yeah, there we go. Basic tutorial on all our controls. Next time, we're going to be getting into all of those switches and things, controllers, thrusters, all that to create more advanced mechanisms and vehicles. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!